Hello, my dear friend. Let's get real for a moment. When you reach your 60s and beyond, who will actually stand by your side? When you were younger, the answer might have felt obvious: your children, your spouse, your siblings, maybe a best friend or two. But now, things feel different, don't they? People get busy, families spread out, priorities shift, and sometimes you're left wondering if I really needed help, emotional, financial, or even just someone to talk to who would truly show up. This video isn't about fear, it's about freedom. Because today, we're going to uncover 6 powerful support systems that are even more reliable than family in your later years. These aren't substitutes for love. They're foundations you can build right now to feel confident, secure, and never left behind. So grab your tea, get cozy, and stay with me till the end, because what you'll learn here could transform the way you feel about your future. The most dependable source of support in your golden years isn't a person. It's your financial independence. Let's be honest, money isn't everything. But after 60, it plays a bigger role than ever. It's the difference between peace of mind and anxiety, between choices and limitations, between relying on someone and standing tall on your own. Meet Patricia, 71, from Flagstaff, Arizona. For decades, she raised 3 children, helped them through college, paid off her home, and always assumed, if something happens to me, the kids will help. But then came a curveball: unexpected dental surgery and a pile of medical bills that Medicare didn't fully cover. When she gently asked her son for help, he apologized through tears. His own mortgage, daycare expenses, and job loss had left him strapped. Not because he didn't care, because life happens. Patricia told me later, that was the moment I realized I need to be my own safety net. So she started where she was. She called a local credit union for advice. She created a weekly budget that worked for her fixed income. She even took a free online class about managing money after retirement. And now, she's not rich, but she's secure. You don't have to have $1 million to feel financially safe. What you need is a plan. Know what's coming in. Social security, pension, side income. Great. Know what's going out. Track your expense, especially the sneaky ones like subscriptions or delivery charges. Build an emergency cushion, even $25. Month into a rainy day savings account can grow. Simplify your needs. Downsizing, cutting unnecessary costs, or refinancing can make a big difference. And if you're worried it's too late, it's not. Financial stability is built one small choice at a time. Every wise decision you make today helps future you breathe easier. Because here's the truth. Relying on your children or relatives for money puts pressure on them and leaves you vulnerable. Instead, build your own steady ground. It's empowering, it's liberating, and it's something you can start strengthening right now, no matter your age or income level. You deserve the dignity of freedom. And that begins with having control over your money, not the other way around. Want to take a step today? Write down your top 3 expenses this month. Then ask yourself, can any of these be reduced or reworked? Coming up next, the second pillar, and it's the one thing no one else can do for you, but it's more powerful than any medicine. Let's talk about your physical health. Let's talk about something that doesn't get nearly enough attention until it's gone. Your health. After 60, your body becomes either your greatest ally or your biggest obstacle. And here's the truth. No matter how much your kids love you, your partner adores you, or your friends check in on you, no one else can take care of your body for you. This is personal for me. Let me tell you about Marcia, a 69-year-old retired school librarian from Asheville, North Carolina. She's witty, creative, and one of those people who always has a book recommendation ready. But after her hip surgery, something changed. She slowed down. Her walks got shorter. Her world got smaller. She told me, "I thought I'd bounce back quickly, but weeks turned into months, and I just, stopped moving." She relied more and more on her daughter to run errands, pick up groceries, and even help with laundry. It wasn't until Marcia struggled to open a jar and burst into tears that she realized her independence was slipping away. So she made a decision. No more waiting, no more putting it off until next week. She started with a gentle chair yoga video she found online. Then came short walks down her driveway. Today, she's doing water aerobics twice a week at her local rec center. Her energy is back, her confidence even stronger. Because when you protect your body, you protect your freedom. Now, let's get one thing straight. You don't need to become a gym rat or run marathons to stay strong. The secret is consistency over intensity. Here are simple ways to stay active. Daily movement. Even 10 minutes of walking counts. Stretch. Keep your joints limber and prevent stiffness. Balance practice. Try standing on one foot while brushing your teeth. Little things matter. Strength. Light hand weights, canned food, or resistance bands, anything to keep muscles awake. And it's not just about moving your body, it's about fueling it. Eat whole foods when you can. Fruits, veggies, lean proteins. Drink water. Coffee doesn't count, sorry. Pay attention to what foods make you feel tired versus energized. Now, I know it can be overwhelming, but here's what I want you to remember. You don't have to be perfect, you just have to start. Go outside, feel the sun, breathe fresh air. Your body craves movement because it knows that's how it stays alive and well. And remember, no one else can do this part for you. Not your daughter, not your doctor, not your best friend. This is yours. And the stronger your body, the more life you get to enjoy in your terms. Before we move on, ask yourself, what's one simple movement I can add into my day starting tomorrow? Write it down, stick it on the fridge, do it every day for a week. You'll be amazed how different you feel. Coming up next, the third pillar, something that science says can extend your lifespan and brighten your mood even more than kale or vitamins. Let's talk about your social circle. Here's something you might not expect. One of the strongest predictors of long life and good health after 60 isn't diet, exercise, or even genetics. It's companionship. Yep. According to multiple studies, having meaningful relationships can reduce your risk of chronic illness, lower blood pressure, and even boost your immune system. In fact, loneliness has been linked to the same health risks as smoking 15 cigarettes a day. Let that sink in. When you're younger, friends come easily through work, kids, school, or just the busy rhythm of daily life. But after retirement, after the kids move out and the pace slows down, people start to drift. Calls become less frequent. Friends move away. Some pass on, and before you know it, your world gets smaller. That's exactly what happened to Carol, a 74-year-old widow in Columbus, Ohio. Carol had always been the go-to person in her family, babysitting grandkids, hosting Sunday dinners, volunteering at her church. But after her husband passed and her son relocated for work, something changed. She told me, "I looked around one day and realized I hadn't had a real conversation with anyone in 3 days. She didn't feel depressed, just disconnected. And that disconnection? It started to weigh on her. Her sleep worsened. Her motivation dropped. She felt invisible. Until one afternoon, she joined a local gardening club. "I didn't even like gardening," she said with a laugh. "I just needed someone." Fast forward 6 months, and Carol has new friends, a backyard full of tomatoes, and a renewed sense of purpose. You don't need a huge circle of friends to feel connected. But you do need a few people who make you laugh, listen without judgment, share your interests or values, make you feel seen. So how do you rebuild your social circle in your 60s or 70s? Here are a few ideas. Say yes to small invites. A neighbor's cookout, a library event, or that yoga for seniors class. Volunteer. Local animal shelters, schools, or food pantries are always looking for help. Join a group or class, book clubs, walking groups, or even online Zoom groups tailored to your interests. Reconnect. Reach out to someone you haven't spoken to in a while. A simple "thinking of you" text can open a door. And let's not forget digital friendships. It's 2025. You can meet wonderful, inspiring people from all over the country online. Facebook groups, discussion boards, even hobby forums are full of folks just like you looking for real conversation and shared experience. Because here's the truth. Your family can love you deeply and still not be your full support system. They have their lives, their struggles, and their time constraints. But your friends, they show up in ways family sometimes can't. They fill the spaces with laughter, shared stories, and moments of joy. So ask yourself today, who makes me feel energized and supported? And who do I want to reconnect with or meet next? Don't wait. Send a message. RSVP yes. Say hello first. Because your happiness and longevity may just depend on it. Next up, we're going to talk about something even more personal, your sense of purpose, and why it's one of the most powerful forms of support you can build after 60. Let me ask you something personal. When was the last time you woke up excited to start your day not because you had to, but because you wanted to? After 60, many of us begin to shift from roles that once defined us, whether that was raising children, managing a career, or caring for others. And as those roles fade, a surprising emptiness can start to creep in. Suddenly, you're asking, now what? Who needs me? Am I still useful? If that sounds familiar, you're not alone. But here's the truth. Your sense of purpose doesn't retire when you do. It evolves. And rediscovering it might just be the most important thing you do in your 60s, 70s, or beyond. Take Linda, a 71-year-old retired nurse in Asheville, North Carolina. For decades, Linda's purpose was clear: care for patients, train younger nurses, and raise her 2 daughters. But after retirement and an empty nest, she told me, I felt invisible, like life was happening around me, not with me. Then one day, she heard about a school nearby that needed volunteers for their reading program. She signed up mostly just to fill her Tuesdays. That was 3 years ago. Now, Linda tutors twice a week, helps organize reading drives, and has mentored over 20 kids. She's even started journaling her own stories with hopes of turning them into a children's book. Her spark came back, and so did her energy. Purpose doesn't have to be grand or public. It can be deeply personal. Maybe for you it's mentoring a younger neighbor or friend, learning to paint, write, or sing, starting a community garden, or helping at your local food bank, caring for your health with the intention of living vibrantly, exploring your faith, your creativity, or simply the world around you. Your purpose is anything that makes you feel alive, connected, and useful. Still searching for yours? Here's a simple exercise. Grab a pen and paper. Write down 3 things you love doing. Then list 3 groups of people or causes you care about. See where they intersect. That intersection? It's your personal gold mine. Because here's the truth. Without a sense of purpose, life can begin to feel like a long pause. But with it, every day becomes a chance to create, give, and grow. And you don't need anyone's permission to start. You just need to say, "This matters to me. I want to try. I'm not done yet." Because you're not. One of the most dependable forms of support you can give yourself is the inner fire that keeps you curious, connected, and moving forward. It's the kind of strength that doesn't depend on family or friends. It lives inside you. So if today felt like just another ordinary day pause, ask yourself, what would make this day meaningful? And start there. Coming up next, we'll dive into your emotional resilience, the quiet power that helps you weather storms and bounce back stronger than ever. Let's face it, life doesn't get easier. With agate gets realer. By the time we reach our 60s and 70s, we've experienced joy, yes, but also loss, disappointment, change, and sometimes a deep loneliness that no one talks about. And while it's comforting to believe that family or close friends will always be there to lift us up, the truth is, they might not be. It's not that they don't care. They're busy. They have careers, children, health concerns of their own. They may not even realize how much you're holding in. That's why, after a certain age, one of the most powerful forms of support doesn't come from anyone else. It comes from you. Let me introduce you to Doris, a 75-year-old widow from Billings, Montana. She lost her husband suddenly after 48 years of marriage. The grief was crushing. At first, her adult children called every day, but as the weeks went on, the calls slowed. "I was angry at first," she told me. "I needed them. But then I realized something. I needed me even more." So Doris made a decision. She joined a local bereavement group, even though the idea scared her. She started walking each morning before sunrise, just to feel her heartbeat. She began writing letters not to send, but to say the things she was too afraid to speak out loud. One day at a time, she began rebuilding her emotional strength. Not by pretending everything was okay, but by allowing herself to feel, process, and heal. That, my friend, is emotional resilience. And here's the secret. You already have it inside you. Emotional resilience isn't about staying strong or pushing through. It's not about ignoring pain or pretending to be fine. It's about letting yourself feel grief without letting it define you, accepting that some things are unfair and still choosing to move forward, finding joy again after loss, not because you forget, but because you remember how precious life is. And yes, emotional resilience can be practiced. Here are a few powerful ways to strengthen it. Journaling. Write down your thoughts, even the ugly ones. You're not editing your life, you're understanding it. Mindfulness or prayer. Even 10 minutes a day of quiet reflection can reset your emotional center. Therapy or support groups. There's strength in saying, "I can't do this alone," and then realizing you're not. Daily affirmations. This might sound corny, but starting your day with something like, "I am worthy, I am healing, I am strong," rewires your thinking over time. Limit negativity. That might mean turning off the news, distancing from people who drain you, or avoiding online spaces that leave you upset. And above all, be gentle with yourself. You're not failing if you feel sad. You're not weak if you need a moment to cry. You're not broken if you don't bounce back instantly. You're human. You've lived. You've loved. And you're still standing. That in itself is strength. So if you're wondering who you can truly count on during life's hardest moments, look in the mirror. You are your own anchor, your own calm in the storm, your own voice saying, "I will get through this." And you will. Up next, we'll talk about one of the most underrated superpowers after 60, your ability to adapt. It's the difference between surviving and thriving. Here's one undeniable truth about life after 60. Everything changes. Your routines shift. People move. Health fluctuates. Technology races ahead. And those familiar comforts you once relied on, they might not be there anymore. The question isn't whether life will change, it's how you will respond when it does. Adaptability becomes your secret weapon, not just to survive, but to truly thrive in your 60s, 70s, and beyond. Let me tell you about Martin, a 77-year-old from Asheville, North Carolina. He had always prided himself on doing things the old school way. He paid bills in person, never owned a smartphone, and didn't care to learn that computer stuff. But after his closest friend moved across the country, Martin began to feel disconnected. No more weekly coffee chats, no more casual visits, just long, quiet days. At first he sulked, then he got stubborn, and then, one evening, his granddaughter showed him how to use video calls. "I was clumsy with it at first," Martin said, "but now, I see my buddy's face every Sunday morning. It's like he never left." That's the magic of adaptability. Martin could have stayed stuck. Instead, he chose to grow. You see, many people believe aging means becoming rigid, set in your ways, resistant to change. But that mindset, it's a trap. The truth is, the people who stay happiest, healthiest, and most connected as they age are the ones who stay flexible, no just in body, but in spirit. They say yes to trying something new, even if it's awkward at first. They allow themselves to change their minds. They understand that growth doesn't stop at retirement, it just takes on a new shape. Here are some ways to strengthen your own adaptability muscle. Say yes to technology, even if it's intimidating. You don't need to master every app, but learning how to use video calls, texting, or a health app can be life-changing. Be open to new friendships. Just because your circle has shifted doesn't mean it has to shrink forever. Try joining a community class, book club, or even a Facebook group. Change routines that no longer serve you. Maybe it's time to trade that late-night television habit for an early morning walk, or to swap processed snacks for vibrant, fresh meals. Let go of shoulds. You don't have to act your age. You don't have to fit anyone's expectations. Adaptability means giving yourself permission to redefine what your life looks like on your terms. Turn curiosity into a daily habit. Ask questions. Read. Explore new ideas. When your brain stays curious, your spirit stays young. Adaptability also means knowing when to pivot emotionally. You might have dreamed of spending retirement surrounded by grandchildren, but they're busy or live far away. That doesn't mean your golden years are any less meaningful. It just means you get to reimagine joy in new ways. Travel to places you've never seen. Learn a skill you never had time for before. Host neighborhood dinners. Volunteer. Write your story. Because when you embrace change instead of resisting it, something beautiful happens. You expand. And every time you stretch yourself just a little by learning, adjusting, or simply staying open, you build a stronger, more resilient version of yourself. The truth is, no one gets through aging unchanged, but if you stay flexible, you'll find that each twist and turn of life still holds possibility. So don't cling too tightly to the past. Instead, trust yourself to grow through it. Because the most successful aging isn't about keeping things the same. It's about becoming someone new, again and again, and loving who you're becoming.